It's my lucky day. It's my lucky day. It's my lucky day. My lucky day. Don't need a pot of gold.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Cloud Native. Today's an interesting morning. It is still dark outside, but it's not raining today, and that's good. My name is Adrian Goins, and every weekday you will find me here telling you about what happened yesterday in the world of Cloud Native. I find that there are so many things going on out there that I just can't keep track of them, and so many cool things that I want to use and that'll help make my life better. So this is the place to come to learn what's happening with the software and solutions that you use, that I use, that we all use, and to learn about new things that perhaps some of us have never heard of. It's so dark. It's dark. It's cold. It's winter. Let's get started. Hey, good morning. All right, so I've got different things going on today as I'm trying to maximize the poor, feeble internet that I have down here in the Central Valley of Chile. So you're going to see me periodically looking all over my room. I've got like a laptop over here on a different connection. I've got my main laptop over here. So anyway, I'm not like a spaz. Well, I'm not only a spaz. Not a lot happened yesterday. Oh, I'm actually on the wrong window. That's not where I'm starting. I'm starting over here. So, not a lot happened yesterday. And if it's a day where there's not a lot of things that happen, then, maybe we won't make it the full half hour. So, Kudo got accepted into the CNCF. Yay! Congratulations. If you saw my show a couple of days ago, I talked about the shell operator, and I made the comment that I don't speak Go, so I've avoided getting into operators, and the shell operator looked like a great tool. It was from Flaunt. It looked like a great tool for being able to write operator language code in languages that I do speak. And then this came across my desk. Kudo is another tool that allows you to write operator syntax, not using Go. This is from D2IQ, formerly known as Mesosphere. They're like the prince of Cloud Native. And while I haven't looked at the runtime itself, I wanted to bring it up because getting accepted into the CNCF it's non-trivial. Longhorn got accepted into CNCF. It's a great way to demonstrate to the community that what you're building is actually for the good of the community. So while some of D2IQ's stuff competes with Rancher's stuff, this, the CNCF is like Switzerland. It's like a neutral place. So congratulations to them for getting it in there. I will try to make a deeper dive into this in one of my other videos if I'm ever able to extract the time to do so. If you want to get started with it, if you're on a Mac, great, there you go. And yeah. Next. Yesterday I talked about the new exam coming from the Linux Foundation for Certified Kubernetes Security Administrator. And let me pull this chat window up over here. Hey, Sahad. Nice to see you again. Oscar, I saw your question. I will try to answer that towards the end if we have time. Anyway, yesterday I was talking about other certifications that are coming from, or another certification coming from Linux Foundation for Kubernetes, and that there's already the CKA and the CKAD. Himanshu here just passed his CKAD and wanted to talk about ways that you can pass, things that you can do to be successful. So he breaks down the way that the test is run, but what I liked about this is in addition to recommending Mumshad's course from Udemy, Mumshad is a great instructor. He has a small company called Code Cloud, but he makes great courses on Udemy for all things Kubernetes. In addition to recommending that, he talked about actually completing the Lightning Labs from Mumshad's course, and then some practice exams that he just basically ran through over and over and over until he had confidence that he was able to proceed. In the exam itself, he also talks about, in addition to knowing the Kubernetes stuff, he said that his ability to navigate in VI in order to edit YAML files was also pretty important. So if you struggle with VI, or whatever text editor you use. Make sure that your skills are actually up to speed to be able to move around in there so you don't waste time on that. Other strategies that I've heard for CKA or any of these exams is to go through, don't do the questions sequentially. Go through all of the questions and do the things that you can do quickly, and then come back and as you're going through, prioritize the other ones in your head or on a piece of paper, and then when you return, continue through the questions that are next fastest and next fastest and next fastest, saving the hardest ones actually for the end, which is counterintuitive because you might not complete them, but that's okay. It's better to complete the ones you can than to get stuck on a hard one for a longer period of time and end up not completing things that you could have. Net data. Now this is a little bit older, but it just came to my attention yesterday. Net data is amazing. If you don't know about net data, go spend some time learning it. It's a slight learning curve to get it up and running just because it's not super intuitive. They've done a lot in the last couple of years to make it better, to make it more friendly, and there's a huge community out there of people that you can talk to get up and running. I have a net data system here that I can show you. Yeah, well. Does that work? No? Okay. So because I'm on the external link, I can't actually show it to you. That's sad. Net data does monitoring in real time with metrics updated every single second. And you just drop this thing on a system and you can immediately just connect to it on its open port and you can see all sorts of metrics for everything that's going on in the box. It also backhauls that data, so you can have you can aggregate your net datas through each other. So you can have all of the net data in a particular data center posting their stuff through another net data, so you can go to the individual ones, you can go to the aggregate one, you can take multiple regions and post their data and funnel it into a main central net data. So you have this cascading federated sense of where you can go and view your information. And then for longer term storage, you can push all that data into a backend TSDB like Influx or Graphite and then start doing stuff with it there. But net data was always built for systems. And with this release, they're bringing Kubernetes monitoring into the mix. Did I mention that net data is amazing? I didn't test that I couldn't show you it. It's amazing. It's amazing. Do I have any images up here of net data itself? So if you go to the main net data site, monitor everything in real time. This is such a better website than the one that they used to have. All right, yeah, so they don't have any images up here. Well, you can now start doing monitoring for Kubernetes infrastructure and eBPF stuff. eBPF is the backbone of networking systems like Cilium. And with the new net data, it supports service discovery, individual node monitoring, eBPF monitoring per application, but they broke it out into per event. So I said a minute ago that net data is normally per second, so you get a metric update on a steady beat. But when you're doing eBPF application monitoring, it's actually per event. So that could be more frequently than per second or longer than. And they give an example here of monitoring that they did on, I think this was a MongoDB? Redis. So this was on a Redis database. And the top one shows you monitoring per second, and the bottom ones show you monitoring per event. And you can see the dramatic difference in data resolution and decision-making capability that comes from being able to monitor per event. I'm spending a lot of time on this one because I am a huge fan of net data. It's important to know what's going on in the environment where you are and being able to collect lots and lots of data as easily as possible. Much like backups, as I said the other day, the easier it is to do something, the more likely you are to do it. If every new system, you have to drop some big, heavy, resource-consuming beast on there and then wire it into stuff just to get your metrics, you're not going to do it. Net data is fast. You can just put it on with your provisioner. It's lightweight, and you can make it such that nothing is actually stored on the box, where all of the data is actually shipped off of it so that its footprint is super, super friendly. Did I mention that net data is amazing? Am I a fanboy? Do I sound like I love net data? So, yes, Kubernetes support now in NetData. The side effect of this show is I didn't have time to make more tutorial videos before I started this show, but now I'm coming up with more things. I'm like, oh, I want to make a video about that. I want to make a video about that. Whatever. I'll make a video about it at some point. Yesterday, not yesterday, 2 days ago, I talked about Hashicorp Vault, and I mentioned that I use Vault, and I spoke about them in the context of talking about the Beyond Trust DevOps secret safe, and, well, Hashicorp Vault is now on version 1.5. Very cool. I love Vault. Mostly I use Vault for dynamic AWS keys, where... Sorry, hang on, checking another stream output over here. Making sure I'm actually still streaming. Oh yeah, I'm still streaming. Okay. I don't know why that computer's not updating. Hey, Ariel is here. Hey, man. All right. Totally lost my thought. All right, so normally I use Vault for dynamic AWS keys. When I do demos, I don't like to have to remember to go back in and like black out the key and make it all fuzzy and stuff like that. So Vault allows me to generate AWS keys that expire automatically. So I can use those in the demo, and by the time the video hits the web, the key is gone. But there's lots and lots and lots of other stuff you can do with Vault. You can use it as a secret store for your Kubernetes clusters. You can use it even outside of Kubernetes to just store secret data, and it has a very robust way of securing access to it and making it possible to put stuff in and retrieve stuff. It's a Vault. It's exactly what it sounds like. This release adds additional telemetry. They add a Splunk integration, so if you use Splunk, there you go. They have support for running Vault in OpenShift now. And then they added a new feature called resource quotas that does rate limiting on the number of requests that a particular downstream client can make to prevent denial of service attacks against the Vault backend. I guess that was a problem. Who DDoSes a Vault? Like, if you're going to do that, I suppose it's probably not an intentional denial of service, because I don't imagine you have your Vault infrastructure hanging out on the internet, but maybe people writing bad code or code spinning out of control can actually create a problem. That makes more sense. Vault is... Hey, Byron says that the stream's okay. Thanks, Byron. Vault is now also certified for use with VMware and NetApp. So if you have a support contract with one of them and you were not able to use Vault in some blessed capacity for your infrastructure, now you're able to. Yesterday we talked about Percona, and I'm going to say yesterday, and probably as these streams continue moving forward in time, everything's just going to be yesterday. We talked about Percona. Oh, coffee. I was going to do a song where I was going to be like, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, my Percona. Percona had a release for Mongo that I talked about, and they've followed that up with updates for their extra DB cluster. So now they've made some changes for environmental awareness when you're doing a cluster upgrade, where it'll actually detect which one is the master, and it will upgrade the... We're not allowed to say master anymore, are we? Which one is the primary? The writer. Which one is the writer? And it'll make sure that that the other pods are updated first, so that there's a minimal number of failover events that happen during the upgrade. That's great. They also switched to using HA Proxy as the default proxy manager. They say that that's because it has better compatibility with MySQL, and it uses rules-based access control that allows them to do access control. HA Proxy is a fantastic load balancer. They've gotten kind of a bum rap because the Nginx ingress controller was the first to hit and is the one that everybody knows and that it's everywhere, so they got the benefit of being first to market. But Nginx was originally designed to be a web server. HA Proxy from the beginning has been designed to be a fast TCP proxy. And if you just need to do load balancing and get your packets where they need to go as fast as possible, HA Proxy is still the way to go. So I'm glad to see that their proxy manager in Percona XtraDB is HAProxy. I love HAProxy. I was actually just talking to one of the guys from HAProxy a couple of days ago on LinkedIn, somebody that I knew, what year is this, 2020? 15, 16 years ago in a different life at a different organization in New York. And he just popped up, and he's at HAProxy now. So it's nice to see that they're out there. If you are not using Percona, I believe that Percona is the right way to run multi-master MySQL in Kubernetes or anywhere. Don't waste your time trying to figure out how to do stuff that somebody figured out for you. It's free and open source. They'll offer you support for it if you need it. DBA support, as I said also yesterday, everything's yesterday now, is important. So this is the way to go. It's a great picture, right? Apparently, if you use Aqua Security and you discover that they revamped their cloud native portfolio, you'll look like that. I have no idea why they picked that picture. The news itself is, I don't know if it warrants all that. But they changed the way that they are offering their products. They've broken it out now into Aqua Wave and Aqua Enterprise. Aqua Wave is a SaaS solution that's based on the Cloud Security Posture Management Software, CSPM, that they currently offered. And Aqua Enterprise is either SaaS or on-prem and offers some additional stuff for enterprises. I think the idea here is that people were shying away from the full feature set because they just didn't need it, and there may have even been more requests for a SaaS solution. So they've got an entry-level solution that is most of what the product that they had before includes. Aqua Enterprise has features for Kubernetes clusters, RBAC, and other bits, and then of course has the on-prem support if you need that. They now support GCP and Oracle Cloud for infrastructure. And then the core CSPM tools that are present in both product offerings have been updated to perform remediation tasks when they find common weaknesses in configurations, particularly for common issues that come up when you're using Terraform or when you're using CloudFormation. So it's going to see these things, it's going to be like, oh, we know how to fix that, and it's just going to fix those things for you. Sounds good to me, right? And remember, you can look like that. Cassandra. Hey, Stefan. Good morning. Cassandra 4.0 beta. If you are running Cassandra, this is now feature complete, so you can start to test this in your lab environments and begin to develop your workflows for how you're going to migrate to Cassandra 4.0. They commit that it's not going to change. So the skills that you develop and what you learn in doing that migration and overcoming any issues in your environment will transfer over directly to an actual production upgrade when the time comes out. So I totally lost my mouse again. There it is. They fixed over 1,000 bugs. That sounds good, right? They have a 5x improvement in scaling. That also sounds fantastic. They've enabled audit logging. Great, that's a good thing to have. And the release announcement itself is pretty light. You know, they're looking to the future with Java 11 support. But these guys, DataStax, have a more in-depth article. These guys provide Cassandra as a service, and they say here how many. So they're running thousands of Cassandra clusters on Kubernetes in DataStax Astra. So they sound like they're a good source for talking about the value of the Cassandra 4.0 beta solution. So they talk about their solution as well as how the changes that are in 4.0 are going to affect Cassandra environments. I'll link to both of these in the video description after the show. The last thing that I have today, actually forgot to preload. It's kind of fun. 1 second here. Give me a new tab. Use my browser as a PDF viewer. This, whoa. Okay, let's not do that with the mouse. You like steampunk? You like cloud native? Now you can get your steampunk and your cloud native all in the same place. This is from Intellix, and it's kind of a fun overview of what cloud native is and what cloud native means, specifically covering infrastructure, applications, and down here at the bottom, oh, I guess it's over there. There we go. Gotta get my pointing better. Architecture. It's a free download. I'll put a link to it in the video description. And what I liked about it, it's kind of campy. So it's kind of campy. Just take that into consideration. But I like that they did not include any products, not even open source products. In fact, they have a thing here that you can't read because it's so small. But it says, where is Kubernetes? And they say that, Kubernetes is the container orchestrator of choice, dominates most cloud native deployments, but this poster doesn't reference any products, even open source ones. Nothing on this poster should be considered to be product specific. And when you read the poster in that context, then it's basically a blog article with the paragraphs slapped into steampunky components to become kind of a choose your own adventure, where they explain all this terminology. What is stateless, trustless, codeless? If you play Buzzword Bingo, oh, interesting. You can actually click on all of these and they will take you to Intellix blog articles or product offerings, of course, because nothing is done for free. So they're all, it's like a HTTP Web 1.0 image map. But anyway, it's fun. So the link to where you can get this, you just have to give up your name and an email address, and they'll send you a download link that expires pretty quickly. It's fun. I thought I'd throw it out there. We do have today a tool of the day. Tool of the day, tool of the day. Dum, dum, dum. Which I did not put into a browser tab. Today's tool of the day, I don't actually know if I'll have a tool of the day every day, so it might just be like tool of the week or tool of today, whatever. It is Arcade from Alex Ellis. Alex Ellis is the genius behind OpenFaaS and inlets, and he just writes really good code. He creates really good tools. He's a really nice guy. You ever meet people like Will Smith who are just really nice? Like if you talk to anybody, well, allegedly, I don't actually know anybody in Hollywood, but allegedly, if you talk to anybody who's ever worked with Will Smith, like they don't have anything bad to say about him. He's just really nice. I have zero bad to say about Alex Ellis. Every interaction I've ever had with him, he's just really happy to make stuff for the community. He made Arcade, and I don't have a demo for you because I was off to a late start this morning. Basically, this is a one-stop shop for installing CLI tools for Kubernetes or applications into Kubernetes clusters. It just knows where to go get things. It knows how to install them. It converts values.yaml into flags. Let's see if I can scroll down for an example here. So it breaks things down into Arcade Get or Arcade Install. So Arcade Get will install tools in your local environment. So for example, Arcade Get K3D will install K3D. And then once you have a Kubernetes cluster, you can use Arcade Install to install things. It only knows about a few things right now, about 15 or 20 things. And I haven't gotten far enough into it to know if you give it something it doesn't know how to do, will it figure that out? I suspect that there has to be some kind of instructional thing about where to go get it and what to do with it. And this is a relatively new tool, so those things will expand over time. So you run Arcade Install and poof. You don't need to know where it was. You don't need to know really anything about it. And if you do want to use flags for it, well, then you can say Arcade Install, whatever the thing is, and then help, and it will tell you what flags it accepts. You can override stuff with -- set. It'll give you like a post-install screen that'll tell you how to do stuff with whatever you've just installed. The idea behind this, he's got some example apps here at the bottom of the GitHub repo. The idea behind this is in line with the rancher ideals of just make things simple to get from I want something to I have something, at least in the Kubernetes world, as quickly as possible. So you want Nginx as an Ingress controller, just arcade install Ingress Nginx, and you've got it. I'd like to see more contributions from the community on this to install other tools that are popular and valuable. I'd love to see MetalLB come out of this. MetalLB is easy to install. If you do anything with Cert Manager, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I'm also like, I love Cert Manager as much as I love HA Proxy, as much as I love NetData. It's just a core component of what we do. And it can be kind of a pain to install. But with Arcade, that's not the case. So check this out. The link to this will also be in the video description. And that's the tool of the day. Tool of the day. Dum, dum, dum. Hey, hi, Selena. Thanks for stopping in. All right, Oscar asked a question this morning. We've got a couple minutes left, so I just want to review this. He asks specifically how to properly apply versioning tactics with Helm. And he's talking about workflows. So he says 1 chart per app versus 1 chart for all apps, component versioning, version per application versus product versioning. And he asks if I have any thoughts on this. Helm is designed to be a package manager, and things that are packaged up inside of Helm are designed to be units. So if you were, they themselves are versioned. So if whenever I'm thinking of how to do things in Kubernetes, I think of how I would do it in the real world. On real infrastructure. If I had a machine and I needed to install an application, the application has a version, and I know that that's a fixed unit. So if I install version 1.0, I'm always going to get version 1.0. If I install a Helm chart that's version 1.0, I'm always going to get the version 1.0. The tags are going to be defined for the container images. It's going to be a fixed unit. The thing that's different is my configuration to override that. So that will be the values.yaml. Values.yaml, I can store myself in a repository. I can follow a GitOps methodology of more infrastructure as code, where the repository is the source of truth. I can wrap those things in Terraform. I can bind and version my values.yaml to go with a specific Helm chart, and I can make sure that when this changes, that those changes are applied universally across everything. That's about the best that I can offer you. I'm not aware of any system that will do this for you. And I don't know enough about the problem that you're trying to solve to come up with something of more detail. Whenever people do ask me questions like that, I like to follow it back. Usually by the time somebody asks you a question, they've already gone through a troubleshooting process, and I wasn't involved in that process. If we take it all the way back to the beginning and say, what's the actual problem that you're trying to solve, then together we can work through the steps to arrive at a solution. Hey, Jamo's here. Hello. We do need a tool of the day jingle. Yeah, I will try to work on that over the weekend. I'll be doing show development during the weekend, because I'm only doing the actual show Monday through Friday. So over the weekend, I'll take what I've learned or what didn't work during the week, and I'll try to build stuff in for next week. So we'll see if we can get a tool of the day on a button, right? All right, that is it for today. I'll post all of the links in the video description a few minutes after the show ends. If you have something that you'd like me to announce here, you can post it to Twitter with a hashtag CNCN. You can also just hit me up directly on Twitter or LinkedIn. I've put all of that stuff in the video description. Let's make me big again. If I mentioned a tool that you use, let me know in the comments. If there's a tool that you use that you'd like me to talk about, well, let me know in the comments below, or any of the other means. If you like what you saw today, please subscribe to the channel, click the little bell so you get notifications when the next show starts. I'll be doing this every single day, and let's try to get more people here. Let's try to make this into something that everyone can benefit from. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, and keep learning.